Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic and Movie Show. My name is Deshaun and today I'm here to give you my review of Witcher Season 1. Now The Witcher, my bad, is a very unique property. I adore the Witcher games. Or at least I adore Witcher 2, 3. Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. Witcher 2, never played Witcher 1, but Witcher 2, go burn in hell. I hate that game. I hated that game. That game was so fucking difficult for the controls were just stupid. I hated Witcher 2, enough said. But Witcher 3, I adore. I've played that game so many times. I still have it. I played all the DLCs, Blood and Wine, Heart of Stone. I love Witcher 3. All of my experience of Witcher is in that game. Now, I know that there are multiple books. There are books on The Witcher. There's a lot of lore on The Witcher. I never read that stuff. Seth has, but I never read that stuff. So going into this Witcher, when I heard that it was going to be more about, come more from the books than the video games. And I was like, okay, well, I now know too much about the book, so I'll see what I see. Now, needless to say, I don't know enough about the books to know what they kept and know what they didn't keep. I just know what I know from Witcher 3, and if it lines up, it lines up, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, off top, I'm going to say, this is a good show. This is a really good show. I like this show. I really enjoy this show. It has a lot of potential. It does. It has a lot of potential. Henry Cavill, while it took me a time to get used to him, because I'm so used to the actor who plays Geralt and the facial expression of Geralt, that it took me some time to adjust to the idea of Henry Cavill being Geralt, the way he looks, because I kind of think Henry Cavill is a little too pretty to be Geralt. He's a little too handsome. He's a little too buff. Because Geralt's buff, but he's always seemed to me to be more like a cut buff. Acrobatic, not super strong. And he's always looked kind of rugged, like real rugged and real rough. Like if he fucking spit, it would turn something into dust. Or something that's always been Clint Eastwood. That's what Geralt's face has always reminded me of Clint Eastwood from I don't know, The Bad, the Good, and the Ugly. That's kind of been his face. It's just real rogue, rugged, and chiseled. Like Wolverine or something like that. And Henry Cavill, he's a handsome dude. He's a real handsome dude with a great jawline. So it took me time to get used to it. They changed his eyes. He doesn't have the cat eyes. They're the same color. They are yellow, gold, or whatever. But they're not cat-like. But, so they changed a couple things. He doesn't carry two swords on his back. He carries one sword at a time on his back. And he carries the other sword in his, sleeve thing that he walks around with. The medallion isn't just a wolf. It's not a wolf head. It's a medallion with a wolf on it. So that's different as well. Yeah, he doesn't walk around with a sword with a wolf on the hilt either. Dandelion is in this if you are a fan of the books and the video game, but he's not called Dandelion. He's called something else. Yes, Trish isn't a redhead like in the books, but she kind of has brownish. They did this weird thing with Trish where they cast on I don't know who she is, but she kind of has brown hair that in certain light looks red. So I guess I see what they're going for here, but she's not a straight up ginger like Trish, a straight up just ginger Becky Lynch looking girl. But the action is great. When the action hits, the action hits. I like the design on a lot of the creatures, though some of the CGI on some of the creatures is questionable. I do like the design on most of the creatures. There's one practical design on one creature that is really freaking cool. Henry Cavill is great with the sword play. He looks awesome with it. He looks like he can just cut you in half. I believe him as a Witcher in the sword play. And as the show goes on, he grows on you. The actress they have to play Yennefer, I wasn't sure, and this is going to sound... I don't mean this in a bad way. I wasn't sure she was going to be attractive enough to play Yennefer. Because when I think of Yennefer, I think of her being this ridiculously attractive, ridiculously confident, ridiculously kind of bitchy. Yeah, she says it in the show, okay? So it's not me. Kind of asshole, kind of bitchy. You kind of don't know if you can completely trust her. She's going to do whatever she wants to do. And if you happen to align with her, then maybe she'll do it for you. And that's how I always thought of Yennefer when I saw her in the video game. And I saw this actress, it's like, I don't know. And, but, you know, even she started to grow on me, and I started to go accept her as Yennefer. And that's what happens with a lot of these characters who they cast, is I slowly started to accept them as the characters there are, and just started to go, okay, this is a part of the story I'm not privy to anyways, so I'm gonna just go with you guys on the journey. It's not like, well, now when they get to season 3 and they're doing the Wild Hunt, maybe I'll be like, okay, it should have went like that. But those are the things I think are great about the show. It's a very well designed show. The action is great. It looks great. It looks good. Like, the cinematography is really good. I like the score, even though sometimes it can get a little too loud for me and show up at random moments and go away at random moments. It was really trying to be Game of Thrones though in parts. In parts, it's really playing up the Game of Thrones-esque nature of it. But Witcher's always sort of had that in it, at least from what I've heard from Seth, the original books. And, like, because even playing the video game, the politics and stuff was the least most interesting thing to me about the game. To me, Witcher, the thing that was interesting about Witcher is the characters that you met, the monsters, the creatures, and how you killed them, and Geralt. You know, that was the most interesting thing, is the characters in the game, the missions you go on, the monsters and creatures, and Geralt, and that was it. I never really cared about the politics, or the king and the queen, and all that politics. I've never really cared about that stuff. I just cared about this stuff. It's kind of why, when I originally was thinking about this, when I heard this was being announced, I was kind of hoping that they would make it smaller, that they would just make it about him on one job, just one simple job, and then maybe in the second season you can expand it and make it bigger. But they kind of went for the big fish right off the bat. They kind of went for the big, the big epic story right off the bat. And he does do side jobs through the course of the show. One particular I thought was a great episode, which was my favorite episode, was a side job he did for a king, for a, what was it? Not a Kikamura, I know it, I can't remember the name. But one job he did was for this king, and it's the job where he, if you guys watch the show, it's the job where he met Trish Marigold. And he did this job, and I thought that was my favorite episode, because that episode was the most Witcher that the entire show ever got. Which, I mean, the show got Witcher, but that episode to me was the part of The Witcher that I enjoy, the part of The Witcher that I like, which is the mystery, the monster hunting, the doing a job. Even though this person might not want you to do this, you discover things that you shouldn't have discovered. The job's more complicated than you want it to be. That is Witcher to me. That's the first Witcher game to me, and I enjoyed that. That episode was my favorite episode. But all in all, the show does have some problems, at least for me. The way that they tell time is terrible. To me, I hate it. They never tell you, and I'm sure maybe second season will be better now that, you know, near the end they catch you up. But they do this thing where the show is out of order. But the problem, and no problem with that, is they don't tell you when they're gonna do it. In the beginning of the show, you think everything's happening at once. Like every freaking show in the history of mankind, that's how it goes. But for some reason, this show does this thing where literally you are watching Geralt do something, and you're watching Ciri do something, and they're at completely different time periods. But the thing is, when it's happening, there's no indicator at all that it's happening at a different time period. You just figure that out once they get to a certain point. You're like, wait a minute, this is happening in the past. For instance, he meets Dandelion. The moment he meets Dandelion, the next episode, it's been years since he's met Dandelion, and it's like, oh, okay. When you meet Yennefer, and she finally becomes beautiful, and she transforms from being a hunchback to the Yennefer we know from the video games, all of a sudden the next time you see her, it's been like she's like, I've been living for 3 decades. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I don't even know, like when did that happen? I'm confused. When is stuff happening? Like, what is going on? Like, because it just cuts like that, and that bothered me about the show. It really bothered the fuck out of me. I could never get over it. It irritated me, and I called it to the end. I was like, let me guess, they're gonna get to the end, and all time's gonna catch up. And I was like, to me, it felt like they were being super clever for no reason. They thought they were being clever, but they were doing that for no reason. I don't know why they chose to do that. I didn't think it was very necessary to do it like that. And if you are going to do it like that, at least do something to indicate that you're doing it, because it took me a while watching the show to even realize what the fuck was happening, because I'm like, oh, I thought this was happening at the same time. When did he meet Dandelion? Wait, he met the queen? I'm like, I'm so confused. That was my big problem, my big problem. Another problem is they really beat you over the head with the themes of the show. They say if you play a drinking game for the amount of times that they say Destiny and lesser evil, you would die. They say that shit every episode. They say one of those things. One episode in particular I watched with Seth, and he was losing his mind. I swear to God. They say the word Destiny 250 fucking times. We get it. Destiny, 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 Destiny. I want to go shoot the guy who created the video game Destiny because of the show. This show made me hate the word Destiny. By the way, I like the show. But man, those things bothered me. Those two things bugged the shit out of me the entire time I was watching the show. Bugged the hell out of me. But it did enough great things that I am curious. I am excited for the second season. I have grown used to Henry Cavill. I like him now. I like the girl actress playing Yennefer. I like the actress playing Trish. I like the actor playing Dandelion, but they call him something different. I think like Josry or something like that. I can't remember the name they called him. So all in all, I'm still enjoying the show. I still enjoyed the show. I still thought it was a good show. But the show, like, you know, I mean, granted, my one biggest problem with the show might be gone when I do the second season. Because there's no reason to do it now that, you know, that everything is full circle and it's all caught up. There's no reason to do it now. But, you know, hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully stop saying fucking word Destiny, though. Because they just say that shit like so many times. But I have to give Witcher Season 1 a 7.5. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. But them playing with time... Some of the CGI on the monsters, especially the last episode, was a bit rough. I have to say, it looked a bit video gamey. Like, I was like, oh, cool. It looks like those things that eat dead things, but it looked a bit CGI. But it looked really CGI. Like, I mean, really CGI. It looked kind of video gamey to me. It really did. But you know, all in all, I enjoyed the show. I liked a lot of the characters in it. I enjoyed Henry Cavill. But the CGI being iffy, the score being good, but like sometimes they would just blast it for no reason. And the fucking the time skips and the non-communicational time, like the way they do things with time just bugged the fuck out of me. So I can't go above an 8, but I'm going to give this a 7.5. I think this is a good, solid first season. That's not a bad thing. Some of the best shows of all times. Lowest season was their first season. Dexter's lowest season was his first season. Supernatural's lowest season was his first season. You know, sometimes you just come out the gate and you just are establishing things, and that's what I feel like the show's doing. Now the second season's already guaranteed and is in production. We'll see how that goes. But hopefully they'll get it all together. They'll put the pieces together. In the second season, I can give a 10. But all in all, I enjoyed the show. Had a lot of flaws, but I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for joining me on the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.